Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nerd Cultured, where the sons of glitches. This is Neil. We've got Mike, Remy, and John. Full house tonight. And what is this, episode 4, 5?
Five.
Five. I like 5.
It's a magic
Sounds
number.
good to me.
I can
It is a
only
magic
count
number.
to 4.
Is that just like the number of fingers you have on your hand?
Yeah, thumbs don't count, right? Oh, man.
That's the combination on my old footlocker. 2, 10, 11. Eyes, fingers, toes.
That's right. That's right. So
That's
there's a story that I think needs to be told right off the rip here. That two of us really got to enjoy quite the trip here lately, and then the other two did not. So the two that got to enjoy it, why don't you share for the townspeople here how that was and what was going on?
Yeah, man. I'll go ahead and take it, Mike, if you want to relax for a minute. Chime in whenever.
No, by all means. By all means.
So, as most of you know, we stemmed from a group called SSG, Sword and Shield Gaming, and this weekend was our first LAN in the past 5 years. Actually, the last time we did it was in Atlanta 5 years ago. So we met up. There were 22 of us or something, somewhere near there, in Vegas. Yeah, we met up in Vegas and we had a hell of a time. We went to we went all over the place. We went to the Venetian. We went and had a Mario Kart tournament. Which was fucking awesome. We played in an esports arena.
Which you did not do too badly in.
No, dude, that had so much fun.
How many, what group of 4-year-olds end up beating you guys?
No, actually, there weren't that many young people. I do think one of the finalists was 13. But
yeah, there were less
younger
than
you.
Very young children. Oh, much younger than us. Although we'll give a
most
shout
people
out
are these
to,
days.
We'll give a shout out to Run 5K, represented
Run
SSG
5K.
very well. Made it to the
Yep.
finals.
Yes, he did.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't realize he made it up there.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
he kicked ass.
Oh yeah, it was very, very cool. We got a bunch of shout outs on the Sports Arena's Twitch channel, and they called us out live during the show a bunch of times, and that was a lot of fun. That was definitely a highlight of the trip for me. And
Yeah, man, I agreed. It was fantastic.
and I honest to God, I think the other two the other two highlights for me were both happened on Twitch when we sat down with Jay. And he was nice enough to, carve out like 40 minutes for us and take us through the SSG's journey and, this community that spawned us and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah, man, that was pretty awesome.
Heathen fucking climbing the wall of the house, sneaking onto the balcony and breaking into the stream was unbelievable.
Priceless.
What? How did I miss that part of that?
That happened.
Oh yeah.
So we're in the middle of the stream, and this message pops up from Heathen on Twitch chat that says "Greetings from the balcony," and I was like, "What the?" And Remy just goes, "Is he on the balcony?" So I walk over to the window, and there he is, just sitting there with a smug, bearded face. And
I mean, people have met Heathen. This isn't unusual for him.
No,
No, but
God
it was a
knows,
bit
not
of
at
a-
all.
well, we were,
It is surprised when somebody is looming on your balcony suddenly.
Well, especially when there's no
man.
access to the balcony except for that room that you're in.
It's not like there were
it's a very
stairs
heathen
up
thing
to
to
it.
do.
Hey, if we learned anything, Heathen finds a way, okay?
So
Heathen
there
finds
was
a
that,
way.
and then and then when the whole clan crashed the Borderlands 2 stream, that was just
That was pretty fantastic.
That was pretty cool.
That was fucking great.
And the best part about it for me was I got to sit at home sulkily and watch all these things happen. So
Hey, but we FaceTimed you, or vice versa.
hey, yeah, and there was a FaceTime call, and there also was, as you've already mentioned, multiple Twitch streams. So even though I wasn't there, in a way, I was there, and it wasn't
You
quite
got
the
to-
same, but hey, it was still pretty cool.
Both of you gentlemen were sorely missed.
Yes, absolutely.
It came up more than once among multiple people.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's good.
We were bummed out you guys weren't there, but
And our typical response was, "Yeah, fuck those guys."
Glad to know that I'm not the.
I had the info.
Glad to know that I'm not the redheaded stepchild of the clan there.
No. There was another redhead there though, and he was a character.
Yeah.
I have a reputation to behold and a throne to sit on.
Well, let's just say you are the southern redhead stepchild of the clan, whereas Nom Nom is the... Oh God, how does one describe Nom? I love him. He's awesome. I adore him, but he is an interesting character. I gave him a ride to the airport on the last day, and the conversations that ensued. He is all over the map and just such an interesting person to talk to. But so yeah, there are two redheads that I'm aware of in the clan, and you still hold that gruff southern redhead spot.
Oh, gruff, good. That's what I shoot for. Is gruff southern. Perfect.
Gruff southern redhead, I like it.
That's right.
Well, you have to have a little dose of that in any setting, so that's probably why you guys let me talk on here too. I would imagine.
Mostly,
yeah, probably.
Yeah, because we're certainly not gruff.
So I saw a picture on one of the Discords of a couple of individuals apparently naked in a bathtub together.
Oh yeah, that was Heathen in Backdoor.
Yeah, you don't know what you're gonna get from Bach. I tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk about a special character.
I wouldn't say I was surprised.
No, as you shouldn't. And if you look really closely, Heathen was wearing a bathing suit. So
you know what they say though.
Bokdoy was not,
I don't know
right?
if
I cannot
Bokdoy
confirm about Bach.
No, definitely not. And I can tell you guys for sure, I was unexpectedly groped by Bokdoy a couple of times during the course of the weekend.
Oh, same here. He's a special
and that
character.
And that was before any alcohol was even consumed. So
yeah,
I don't know what the fuck that means. But
speaking of, I have not drank that much in years. The fact that I did not have a splitting headache every fucking morning blows my mind, because I was consistently hammered.
I have not drank that much since last stream.
Oh, Johnny, we're gonna dive right into this.
So we're gonna. Well, it's a perfect tie-in to Remy's comment, and we can take a moment there for the copious amount of shots I've taken, and I'll give a shout out to one of our community members that made it happen, Gaming Lucy.
Oh, yeah. Lucy, we love you. We love you so much. Even though you tried to kill John.
Tried to, but you know what? You can't keep a gruff southern redhead down.
Did she try to kill John, or did she make him live?
No, she tried to fucking kill him.
So John, why don't you walk us through this?
I was there. I saw the whole thing.
How did this come about, and why did Lucy try to kill you?
Okay, well, so for those people listening that already are part of our community Discord and our Twitch communities as well, you probably have already seen this. But for the rest of the world to know, I have a little program that I like to do where basically I exchange shots for bits. You give me some bits, certain tiers get there, and then I will take a shot to show my thanks and appreciation, and it has nothing to do with me, the feeling that comes from it,
Wait, do you take shots or do you show your thing?
Well, I take
One
shots and
leads
then
to
show
the other,
my
doesn't
thing.
it?
Right, yeah. There's an order to this that you must follow.
Order of operations.
Correct. Pedmus.
So, how many bits did she drop for you to... How many shots was it total? Was it...
8.
It was 8.
8 shots, you madman. That's a dangerous game you're playing.
And it was...
So I believe what he established after
Tuesday.
that was...
Hang on, let's on a Tuesday night, let's be really clear about this. On a Tuesday night, within about 90 minutes.
Oh, man.
It wasn't
So
even
it's
that
not
long.
like
Yeah,
it's not like we were doing like this, a 5-6 hour stream and everything was nice and spaced out and John had a chance to recover. No, it was just bam, another shot, bam, another shot, bam, another shot, and then John would say something like, "Oh man, I hope Lucy doesn't give me any more bits now because I'm gonna." Oh Jesus Christ, Lucy, you gave me more bits. I have to do another shot.
And
Boom.
who was the one?
Boom.
Who was the one in the comments section that kept saying, "It's happening. Here it goes. Oh, this is really happening." There was somebody egging her on. I don't remember who it was.
It was Antares.
There it is.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
fucking
It
hilarious.
was definitely
His commentary.
It was definitely a team effort. But you know what? Hey, really and
Oh,
truly,
fuck.
as all the all of us clearly, not only from this podcast but also on Twitch and YouTube as well, we are here to entertain folks. And how dare I say that was hella entertaining.
That was
really
very
why I do it.
entertaining.
It was
And
indeed.
Not just for the audience, but also for the other hosts of that particular stream. It was deeply
Oh yeah,
entertaining.
I wasn't even there, and I was enjoying the hell out of it.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Fuck.
Shifting gears though, really quick here, Neil, you had mentioned that you had something you wanted to discuss, and since you're sort of emceeing the evening,
I mean, I was gonna hang on to the tail end of it because it's gonna rile Remy up real bad.
Well, okay. Then before we get to that, there was something I wanted to mention about Vegas that we didn't quite hit. Do you want me to interject that here?
Let's put a bow on Vegas. Yeah, let's put a bow on Vegas and then
Okay.
go on.
All right. So while we were in Vegas, we did this VR experience. A
Oh,
whole bunch
yeah.
of us did. And it wasn't the cheapest thing in the world, but per experience, it was just shy of $40. But they suited you up with this whole vest and a backpack and a visor and the whole thing and the big old headphones over your ears and everything. And it was 4 people at a time, and I did 2 of them. So the 4 people would step into this room. The first one I did was a Star Wars one with Jay, Jet, and I think Ark was there. And so you put these visors on, and you step into this room, and you're looking at your buddies through your visors, and they're fucking stormtroopers. And
Oh, nice.
it was incredible because I could move. There was nothing attached to my hands, but I could move my hands and move my fingers, and every moment was tracked. It was fucking awesome. But it was.
Sounds like they were using the Kinect or similar technology.
I assume as much. I assume there was some sort of camera looking at my hands on my visor. That was my assumption. But it was so cool because I would lift my hand and it would be a stormtrooper's hand. And it was the coolest fucking thing. And then
badass.
they handed you guns at one point, and there were puzzles to do, and like you were interacting with physical things displayed virtually in your headset. And it was one of the most incredible
awesome.
experiences I've ever had. I'll in the comments or in the in the comment section, I will post the name of the company because they're all over the country. And if anybody has an opportunity, fucking do it. It was amazing.
That sounds amazing.
No, I don't know if you know this, but they do something like that with Halo.
I did not know this. Where
it's,
and how much? I will be there.
It's called
Shut up and take my money.
it's not called Gateway.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but they have different points that they do it. You can just look up like, Halo VR experience, you'll find it. But they do something very similar to that.
So Neil,
And
when are we going?
I don't know. We're gonna have to plan that out and figure out a time. I have no clue where the closest one. I imagine LA has one.
I was gonna say
or
we're
will have
less
one
than an
some-
hour from LA. It's got to have one. It's gonna happen.
I'm not sure if it's like one setup and they travel around or how that's set up. But I do
can see that.
But I do know it exists and it's a thing. So
I want
I'm sure we
to
can figure
do
it out.
that because what I
want to go to that.
experienced. The first we did the stormtroopers, and of course you're shooting and all that jazz. By the way, out of everybody that did that experience, I had the most kills. Just saying.
No. Hold on. I thought you guys said you were stormtroopers. How did you hit anything?
Yeah, I was the most unstormtroopery stormtrooper there was. So, but we did that one, and then we did a horror one, which was disturbingly cool. It was fucking creepy and awesome, and it may have made me squeal a couple times. But I digress. So I just wanted to mention that it was a fucking incredible experience, and shout out to everyone that I did it with. It was just fucking
Oh my.
cool.
except for me. Wah, wah.
Well,
Yeah.
why didn't you come with us?
I was unable to because I was being a good person and staying with my wife who was not feeling well that day.
Oh, that's right.
that's too bad.
That's right. I had forgotten that you had to stay behind
Mike.
that day.
Ever so
I
chivalrous.
forgot your wife made it out there.
No, she was there.
Yeah,
And
she
by
was
the
in
way,
Vegas, but she,
Wife Wolf is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
By the way,
Wife Wolf. That's hilarious.
she's
Yeah.
incredible. I really
Oh.
enjoyed the conversations.
Well, that's
I
but
will
Remy,
pass on your compliments, sir.
Thank you.
And to be honest, we kind of knew she was awesome from the time when when Mike had to shave his head, and she goes, "You want some help there?" And then helped him shave the rest of his head off, or his hair off anyway.
Shave the rest of his head off.
I've got that.
Wow.
I've got that on video.
Yeah, those are two different things, huh?
Yeah, that's another level we weren't expecting.
Just decapitate him.
But really, yeah, right. But that's actually a pretty interesting bow on the Vegas trip there, Remy, because it brings up something that I've been excited about a long time, and just the idea of where VR is going to take us.
Yeah, and that's another direction I wanted to go with that tidbit.
It was almost like you planned it out that way.
Yeah, right. So my thought is, this is the first true interactive VR thing. I've tried the Oculus, I've tried the Vive, I've tried the HoloLens. They're all very cool, but walking through this area, so there were moments where the vast majority of the story took place on Mustafar, and for those that are not Star Wars nerds, that's the lava planet. So when you're transferring from the ship to the base that you're going into, it got hot and it felt like warm air was coming up, and it had this kind of burning smell in the room. It was so interesting. And there were small platforms that you had to walk across, and like you had to be very careful about not quote unquote falling off. Obviously, I didn't take a step off of it. I was tempted to, but I wanted to kind of play the game as it was meant to be played. But it was so interactive, and it felt like I could very well fall off. It was fucking incredible.
Well, that's awesome.
Remy, this is the answer that I need is about to follow. Hopefully, if you were on Mustafar, who had the high ground?
Oh God.
It varied, but even when I had the low ground, I fucking won.
Oh, well, hold up. That's not right.
I know.
Now we know you're a liar.
I can't even get away from this shit on my own podcast. I swear to God.
Mike, get used to it. We are going to prequel
there
you.
There is
for the
hard
rest of
empirical evidence that whoever has the high ground is going to be the winner. So
you cannot win. You are the chosen one.
I'm calling bullshit that you got kills on the low ground. Pixar, it didn't happen.
But I got pics.
All I know to say.
I'll go ahead and post them. But ultimately, it was fucking awesome. Go. I absolutely loved the experience so much that I paid for it twice to do the horror one as well.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
It was absolutely stellar, and there were two that I couldn't do because I couldn't afford it. There was a Wreck-It Ralph and a Ghostbusters one as well.
Oh, the Ghostbusters one would have been badass.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been, but yeah, I couldn't very well explain that away to my wife.
And then if you cross the streams during the VR simulation, everyone just died in there. So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's definitely what happened.
Never cross the streams and never cross swords.
Words to live by.
Those are the rules.
Not a good idea. But I do want to piggyback on something Remy just mentioned here. So, Remy, everything you just described sounds awesome.
Yep.
It is every single reason why I think VR is not ready for the masses.
Why do you say that?
Let me finish my thought. Oculus cannot do what you just described. You even said that. Oculus, HoloLens, PlayStation VR, all that shit. They simply do not provide you with that kind of immersive experience. There is no heat on your skin. There is no burning smell.
Right.
There is no.
Yeah, it's just not quite the same.
My problem with VR is and will continue to be so, and if virtual reality is only ever going to be this sort of appointment experience where you do it in a boutique and you need to go someplace to do it, that's okay. I'm fine with that being the case.
Well, it's like going to an amusement park.
Right. So if that's what because I cannot envision a set of circumstances that would allow me to do what you described in my living room. We are
nowhere near there.
We are so far away from that. But I mean, that's the reason I'm just not going to go out and spend $600 on an Oculus for that very reason. Because I don't want to sit in my living room with a big dumb thing strapped to my face, because I'll constantly be aware of the fact that I'm sitting in my living room with a big dumb thing strapped to my face, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather just play the game.
See, I think that where we are with the VR tech. I think it's really interesting, mostly because what I experienced was absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed the hell out of it and would do it again in a heartbeat. But it was a very different experience. It's like going to an arcade versus playing a video game on your couch. So I'm okay with the couch experience too. I'm not saying that Oculus and Vive are not worth your time, because they're fantastic. There are some really good experiences on both of those systems. And PSVR, Resident Evil, is apparently a very good experience, and I will have to suffer through that very soon, as I hear. And don't worry,
that's fantastic.
I will get it on camera.
I needed to hear that.
But I think that there is absolutely a place for both of those experiences, because I will never be in a place where I can get a setup where I smell lava in my living room.
No.
I don't think that's ever going to be the case. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think there's an essential oil for that, so maybe.
It burns
know,
the
man.
nostrils.
My wife has all the essential oils
all
that
got that
exist,
friend,
and I haven't seen it.
We've all got that friend, or our wife has that friend that does that essential oils bullshit, and it's got to stop.
My wife is that.
Same, Remy. Remy, we're in the same boat.
Yep.
Oh,
guys,
but we're not really in the same boat, because you're
guys.
actually.
Because I'm literally in the boat.
Boat puns. But look, guys.
Oh shit!
Guys,
they're floating away from us.
It's in your homes. Stop them. It's a bunch of pseudoscience mumbo jumbo bullshit.
Nah, I'm good with it. It smells good.
Okay, fine.
It smells nice. I'm happy. But regardless, I think that there is absolutely a place for both experiences, because like Jay and I did the horror one together. And there was a point where we were doing puzzles, and we had to pass physical items with virtual representations back and forth. And that was kind of mind-blowing to me.
And
yeah, I haven't experienced those like firsthand, but I've heard of those things, and the fact that it's so instantaneous, it's very easy for your mind to just understand that you now have the ability to do that.
Right, and God knows what it actually looked like in my hand, but I could see this virtual representation and know what to do with it. It was fucking cool. And it depended on where I grabbed it and everything. It was awesome.
And I'm not disagreeing with or dismissing any of that. And having not even done it, I'm sitting here telling you I would be willing to pay to go do that. I would have been there if it had not been for.
Of course, you were being a good husband. And I respect the hell out of that.
Extenuating circumstances, right? But
of course.
Point is that this is just me personally. I'm willing to pay for that. I'm willing to pay $35 for $40 or whatever it was for half an hour's worth of an experience like that. That is, in my estimation, that's money well spent.
Yes, absolutely.
But that sort of out of virtual reality, that's what I'm interested in. Because I've tried Oculus as well, and I've tried PS. I haven't tried HoloLens, but I've tried a PSVR, and they were fine, but they weren't $500 or $600 worth of fine. And
no, once the price comes down, I'll be much more willing to shell out.
When I say it's not ready for the masses, is part of what I'm talking about. Virtual reality is just, in the home, it's just not cheap enough to be worth it. And there's not enough people producing.
It's definitely made progress, but yeah, it's not quite there yet.
The technology isn't quite there yet.
There's not enough content. There's not enough content for it either.
Yeah, that's a big issue.
It's still too expensive to develop content for that, and there's very few companies that have the time and the cycles to spend the money and man hours to develop something for it, and even fewer that have the time and the money to do that really well. So it's that sort of we're on the edge of that being a thing, but it's not a thing, not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. I can respect that.
That's my 2 cents on it.
Until the technology gets better or the price goes down, I am in that same camp as you. It's tempting. It's almost worth it, but it's not quite there.
Right.
And that being said, there I would say in the near future, because technological, the advances that we've had just in our lifetimes have been so crazy. I foresee all of us still being around and still gaming actively to where you can have that sort of experience like Remy you're speaking of in a big ass warehouse with a bunch of stuff in it from the comfort of your couch. I feel that there will be a way for the technology to get there, and that probably likely, dare I say, definitely will be the future of gaming.
Oh, I say it's probably within the next 10 to 15 years that we're going to see major work in that direction.
Right.
I think the next generation of consoles is going to be a huge step in that direction.
Right. Absolutely.
But we'll see.
Well,
and I realized as Mike was talking what Neil wants to talk about, by the way. And yes, it is going to rile me up.
Shit.
That's exactly what I was going to bring it back around to. I was going to say, Neil, you wanted to piss me off, so let's do it.
He wants to compare Borderlands and Destiny yet again.
I don't want to piss Remy off. I'm just going to do it.
Oh, good.
There's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, are you walking a fine line.
I know, right? So, the thing was, we ended the podcast the other night.
No.
I think it was maybe not the last one, but the one before that. Maybe it was the last one. I don't remember. But we were talking about Borderlands and its comparison to Destiny, and
your comparison to Destiny, not its comparison to Destiny.
Here we go.
Okay. Well, you felt like there was no comparison. And here's the thing. In your experience...
completely stand by that.
Okay, that's fine. In your experience, I'm sure there is not. But your experience with Destiny kind of reminds me of my experience with Borderlands. Because there were several different times in Borderlands 2 where I wanted to play something, but I was too underleveled or my gear just wasn't quite there and I wasn't able to beat that bit of story without somebody else there. And there were other times where I joined you guys on a mission and I was too underleveled or to be able to do it. And it was just, oh, well, I guess I have to go grind some or go do this and do that. And it just reminded me of your complaints for Destiny of like, I don't want to have to like put in a crap ton of time to be able to go play the things with these people. And I do understand there's differences. Like you're not going to run into randos in Sanctuary. But you can run into randos in the tower or whatever it is.
Right, of course. That's an obvious difference.
Kind of stuff.
But
that's such a minor difference to me in terms of gameplay and how it affects the game.
I completely agree with that. That's a minor difference. That's an obvious surface level difference. The biggest thing, to me at least, that differentiates those two franchises is with Borderlands, you can play through the storyline without ever really having an issue. Whether you're playing by yourself, it's a lot more fun with friends, of course, but you can play through the storyline.
Like many things.
Right, of course. Like everything. Huh, Mike?
I mean, not everything, but many things.
Don't
anyway.
stop that again.
And we go back to the age-old argument.
Man.
The ancient war.
I will never back down. Anyway, so you can play through the entire thing, and you can do all of the content without having to repeat anything. John, am I right there?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. In Destiny, play through the storyline and then do a raid. I dare you. With a fresh character, play through the storyline and do a raid. That, I guarantee, will not happen. Because they make it so that you have to grind for your gear, you have to work on this bullshit light level, you have to match things whether it's aesthetically pleasing or not. They have specific gun types and gun names and bullshit like that have no variation. Everybody has the exact same gun. If you get the Black Thorn, you have the Black Thorn. You can upgrade it, sure, but if everybody maxes out their Black Thorn, everyone's going to have the exact same fucking gun. Borderlands, if I get the Infinity Pistol or the Conference or name one of the random guns, it's a very randomized drop. It can be the Inferno Infinity Pistol, or it can be there are 1,000 different variations, and you can run the same story and pick up an entirely different variant of that gun or that weapon or whatever it is you're looking for. You can really kind of work the system to make it unique. I guarantee that John and I have probably put the most time into Borderlands 2 of all the people I know, maybe save Deadeye. And
of all the people in the world.
Right. And I guarantee we have extraordinarily different builds. Does not matter what we...
I understand that. And I'm not actually disagreeing with you on that part, because I understand the guns are different. The exotic weapons in Destiny do have a similar build like that, where they have different stats and different amounts of them, and they play slightly differently. And actually, unfortunately, this is kind of maybe a personal feelings about Destiny 1, but I feel like it had more diversity in terms of character builds. You could do kind of different things. Like as a hunter, you could do this build where if you, I believe it was a, what was it? I think you could build this like passive stat as you got headshots or something like that with a pistol.
Okay. And
it would increase your reload speed after that. And stuff like that, which made Thorn feel differently in a Titan's hand compared to a Hunter's hand, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
But those are minor things. But no, I do get what you're saying in terms of the differences, but I'm just talking about in terms of like having to grind.
But
I tried to play
exactly
Borderlands 2.
There is no grind unless you make it.
I disagree. I tried to play Borderlands 2 by myself, and I got to the Firehawk part. And I got my ass whooped. Could not beat that. Could not pass that without friends or without going back and grinding the hell out of it.
Maybe that says something about your skill.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, okay.
User error. User error.
Operator malfunction.
I wasn't 5 levels lower when I got to that point.
You don't need to grind. You need to get good, boy.
Get good.
And it wasn't the fact that I had only gotten random weapons that had bad stat rolls, and I was getting frustrated with that kind of build or anything like that.
Well,
sure, it wasn't that.
I am, out of everybody here, the Borderlands neophyte. I've really just started playing Borderlands 2 in any kind of serious way, and really in the last week. I've really been enjoying it. I will say this, though. The initial experience of playing that game versus playing, since we're talking versus Destiny, they're not even close to being the same thing. Not even close. There's so much more depth, and there's so much more choice and variety in Borderlands in terms of the kind of combinations of weapons that are valid, in terms of the kind of characters you can build, in terms of the way you can, though, just in like the 10 hours that I've put in, and I put hundreds of hours into Destiny. I put 10 hours into Borderlands, and I like Borderlands more than I ever liked Destiny.
And to throw it out there, Mike, you are playing the most vanilla character in Borderlands. No, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But the soldier is as base as it gets.
Oh no, I did that deliberately.
Right.
Because I thought that it's like, okay, this is the first time that I'm actually getting a chance to sink my teeth into this. I want to be able to actually, and maybe this is flawed logic, but I was like, I don't want to be crazy worried about having to master my character so much as I want to experience the game.
Now, real quick, if I might interject, Neil, what character were you playing when you had an issue with the Firehawk? Because there are definitely advanced characters. You were playing as Zero.
I believe I was playing as Zero. Yes.
Okay, so that's probably your issue.
Yeah, Zero is definitely the most difficult character to play into.
I think Zero and Krieg are probably the most difficult characters in that game to play properly.
Okay, well, that was what you all fuckers suggested to me. First off.
All right.
Secondly, so what? I think that I should be able to pass the story as different characters. I don't think that it's like, oh no, don't play Zero by yourself. You'll never beat it.
No, I've beat Borderlands 2 with Zero single-handedly. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, as my first playthrough, that shouldn't be like oh god, no, you shouldn't do that. Well,
I mean, that kind of
but
sucks.
there are different advancements.
Well, you can, and there's different builds
characters
that Zero can do, and some of them are better than others, depending on what you're focused on.
Yeah, I understand that, but it was also like I'm underleveled when I have access to this, as in the story. I've gotten to this part in the story. I'm underleveled, and the other thing was like, what Mike was talking about with like the it's so much more. I agree. I actually like Borderlands 2 more than I like Destiny. I'm not saying that I don't. But to try to imply that there's no comparison or that they're like so entirely different games that they are unalike, I don't think that's what you were saying, Mike.
So here's where I land on this. Pretty much every game that has any kind of RPG element to it at all, meaning that it has a leveling system and a talent tree, whatever. Any game that has anything like that. So if this is the Halo style shooter versus the RPG kissed style shooter. Right?
Yeah.
In Halo, there's no levels. Your power level is your power level is your power level. You can get different guns, but that's it. You're always doing the same base damage. You don't spec into additional talents. Every single game that has a leveling system, doesn't matter what kind of game it is. So I can rattle them off like nobody's business. Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, Ori and the Blind Forest, fucking Dead Cells, Borderlands, Destiny, Anthem, blah, 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 on and on and on. Every single one of those games has potential to be grindy, depending on how you play it. And depending on if you miss something. If for example, if you miss a quest, if you happen to not play through a level in a specific way that the developer intended, whether or not that's quote user error or bad design, I don't give a shit. It can happen. There are tons of situations that like fucking Final Fantasy II on the NES in 1991. I had to grind that fucking game because I would get stuck where I was underleveled. That was that was what, almost 30 fucking years ago.
Don't say it. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it hurts.
But the point that I'm getting
That
at,
one
is
hurt.
a little bit. But the point that I'm getting at is that you can't compare Borderlands and Destiny on that issue because that issue's pervasive. Among Witcher 3 can get once again CD Projekt Red is paying me. Witcher 3 can get grindy,
And there it is. We're actually, you know what? That's a record.
Check
We're
that off
almost
your
40
Sons of
minutes
Bitches
in.
bingo card.
Yep. That's right.
So here's the thing. I'm not saying that's not the case. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they're similar in the fact that they have a leveling system. They're similar in the fact that there are guns that have random rolls of spec stats. I'm saying they're similar in the way that I felt like I had to grind, and I felt like I needed other people to be able to play it. Those are all complaints that Remy has said about Destiny. And I here's the thing. I got a lot of complaints about Destiny too. Those are some of those are sync up with his, very much so. But in terms of a first-person shooter that has a leveling system, that have guns that drop for you, that you kind of rely on being kind of similar to your level, or else you're going to have some, you're going to be doing less damage and that sort of thing. There are similarities in there that are there to be made.
But
That's the only reason I compare the two of them, is because I think, again, I said this just a little bit ago, I think Borderlands 2 is a better game.
It is.
And there's various reasons for that. But the complaints that pop up for me are similar to the complaints that Remy has expressed in the past for Destiny. That's the only reason I bring them up in a comparison, is because I've had those similar difficulties, or whether it was just in a hard place, or I wanted to be able to like it more, but this is getting under my skin or something. It's just, that's why I wanted to explain. That's why I make that comparison. I don't think that they are like comparable necessarily or anything like that, or one's, I don't think, oh well, just because Destiny came out later on it makes it better, or because it had a bigger budget it makes it better. I'm really excited about Borderlands 3.
I'm glad to hear that.
Really excited.
Yeah,
And the biggest reason for that, the biggest reason that I'm excited about Borderlands 3 is because y'all fuckers don't know it. You guys don't know that game like it's like you're married to it.
Well, I am.
I would be like, I'd be looking at a gun, and then John's like, all right, I'm teleporting us to the next area. I was like, what? Where? And I look up, he's like half a mile to the other side of the map, and he's already killed the boss. I was like,
okay.
I guess never mind. I'll just sell this gun. And there's nothing, I get knowing that game. That's fine. I'm not upset with you guys for that. It's just that's how it was.
Sure.
I missed.
And that's fair, Neil. That is fair. That is
It
fair.
sounds like you might be just a little upset with them. I mean, let's.
Well, no, I'm upset with the fact that I missed that game in its heyday.
Yeah,
I
so
missed
am I.
playing that game when it was brand new.
Gonna throw it out there. I told you to pick that shit up because it was awesome.
Yeah, I got it at midnight
Yeah.
on launch
Do you
day.
remember when that was? Because I do. I remember not owning an Xbox One at the time.
Well, it didn't come out.
Well,
on
it
Xbox
came
One.
out on
It came
360.
on 360. Yeah. All right. So
No, say I never owned a Xbox 360.
Things
It
are
just
getting a
didn't
little
happen.
personal here, boys. Let's bring it
I
back
know.
up to
Yeah, we're gonna start nut
But-
kicking in a minute. So I'd like to
Nut kicking.
to give my
bring
2
us out of the
cents.
trenches. Let's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to give my 2 cents on this issue and really expound on it a little bit, and then I've got something else I want to squeeze in here too. So,
Ooh, jeez.
So
Make sure you
to
lube up
me,
first.
and the reason, and I would say that Borderlands is probably my favorite series of all time.
Good man.
And there's some great ones out there, but the reason why is this, and it's the reason that I don't think that you can make any sort of comparison on how it feels based on other games, such as Destiny, such as Anthem, such as Fallout 76, and dare I say even such things as like Diablo even, right? Is because in Borderlands, when you make your characters, when you build your build, and when you know what you're doing, I could go and fight Terramorphous, do a raid boss with all white gear, and kill him. No problem. I could do it right now.
Yep.
In the other games, you just can't do that. You can't. It's not
Yeah.
possible.
I understand that.
And so, for me, and I'm not saying that there's not parts that are grindy. Sometimes, yeah, and especially if you skip some side quests and things like that, you'll get to parts where you're under-leveled, and you need to grind a little bit. Absolutely. I agree. And the good part about it really is, as well, is you keep your experience even if you die, and so that level deficit disappears quickly. But
Yeah.
the difference is there's so much focus in Borderlands, even though they have 1 billion guns. There's so much focus on the character creation. Like, I mean, even for Destiny, and I've played a lot of Destiny. And obviously, I played a shit ton of Borderlands. Destiny's doesn't. You can't even call them builds. You just can't. There's just not enough. It's do you want a hamburger or a hot dog? It's not a build. Okay. And when you go to Borderlands, there's so many different things you can do.
That's 100% true. By the way,
Yes, right. I agree with that.
There is one right way to build a Warlock, a Titan, or a Hunter in Destiny. Full stop.
Right. I mean,
Especially Destiny 2, where they definitely streamlined that. Like,
right.
it's. You see, now we're getting into territory because I was disappointed in Destiny 2 in ways that are really kind of sad, because there was a lot of opportunity to expand, to make it a bigger game, and it felt like a smaller game. Not just because you lost all the expansions from the previous game, not just because of that, but also because the builds are simplified. The zones feel simplified.
Too simplified.
It seems,
yeah.
and here's the thing. I think they did some of that because they wanted to make it more accessible to people that were just going to jump in and hadn't been playing with their friends for a year or whatever it was, because they wanted to make that. And I think it was to the detriment of the game, in some ways.
And I agree with that.
And
that's
I don't
probably
think
exactly.
I don't think that's always the case. I think there's some scenarios where that could be done better. I think Borderlands 2 is a good example where that could be done better, actually.
Whoa.
But they're both looter shooters. That's what I meant by that comparison, more or less.
Well, the point that I was trying to get at, Neil, is that that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
Because in other games, the looting shooting is needed, necessary. You have to, or you can't play at all.
Mm-hmm.
In Borderlands, it's icing on the cake. If you get a legendary, I mean, I've got characters that are max level that I play all the raid bosses on that maybe only have 1 or 2 legendaries that I happen to find, and other stuff is just other stuff that I like.
And maybe
And
maybe in my playthrough I got unlucky. That's totally a possibility.
But
like the last third of that game that I played, I didn't really have any guns I enjoyed. I really didn't. I kept finding guns that would be good for me, for my build and stuff like that, but they weren't fun to shoot. And I think that's one thing, and I know you guys, one of the things Remy pointed out was that, like, Thorn is always Thorn. And it's like, I get that. But God, does Thorn have character? God, does the last word have character? Like, it feels different to shoot that gun than it does any other gun in the game. And, I'm sure there's guns like that in Borderlands 2.
I'll make sure to
Get
drop
you
you a
an
conference call
infinity
one time. We just all start throwing out the guns we like.
Right.
Yeah, there are, and yeah, if you didn't get one rolled, then yeah, sure, that I could see that, Neil. But the point is, and and if that's part of the experience for the game for you that matters is having guns. I mean, there are a lot that have some very unique feels. The conference call for me is the most unique. Infinity Pistol is cool as well. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of cool ones. Baja's Wave is neat.
Yeah.
The shotgun, how it. Yeah. Remy's having
And
orgasms.
the other thing is, I
love
didn't
that
really get good at. The other thing is, I didn't really get good at playing Zero till like way near the end, and maybe that's like, again, that's my own fault. I understand that. Like, it's a matter of like getting used to the fact that his ability cooldown is like 30 seconds, 20 seconds, so you can use it all the time.
Yeah.
Like as well as a lot of the other abilities. That didn't really kick into my brain until like 2/3 of the game. I was like, oh, I can just go invisible, go behind somebody, and shotgun him 3 times. And I think the first time John saw me do that, he literally cheered out loud. Because he was like, there you go. That's how you do it. That's how you use the Zero.
Right.
Yeah,
is
every
you
character's
use
got
it
a
to
very
flank.
unique use, and that's one of the things I
Yeah.
love about it. And not to mention, every character has a very unique character. Everyone stands
Yeah.
apart. I mean,
Their
the
personality.
dialogue lanes,
Yes.
exactly. Everything is just so well constructed.
Yes. This
It's
man is
beautiful.
preaching.
The cell shading, the comedy, the everything about that game. I adore that game. Everything about it.
Yeah.
I want to make one quick point, Remy, about that, and then John. I know you
John
got something
did
you
have
wanna
another topic.
sort of wrap this up with, but games like that are part of the reason that I used to be one of those guys that like, oh, I can't make my own character from scratch. I don't want to play this game. I used to be that guy. That was the old D&D player in me, right? I want to be able
I
to
get that.
want to be able to sit down with a character sheet and make up a name and a backstory and roll
Make him afraid of
stats
running
and-
water.
whatever. Sure. Yeah. Give him phobias. Give him clinical depression or whatever. As time has gone on, I've become a much bigger fan of, like, if a game has like Mass Effect's an easy example. If a game has a Commander Shepard or a Master Chief or a Geralt of Rivia or a Zero or whatever, I have the option to play as that character or a character of my own making, I will play as that character.
Yeah.
Because the story is always better. The game benefits
built for it.
from the game is better for it. So I would encourage everybody, if you're not playing these games that way, give it a shot, because it makes it a richer experience.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Well
and
said.
again, I want to iterate because I mentioned it once, but I want to be clear before everybody I start getting tweets at me or something like that.
Oh, you're getting
I
tweeted.
like Borderlands 2. quite a bit.
Did you say getting tweeted or getting tweed? Because she might.
Both. It's both.
Okay,
It's
she'll
definitely
jump
fucking
in.
both.
Yeah, because
Twee is gonna
Twee might
tweet.
lash out at you over this.
Right.
She has access to rockets. Fuck that.
We're just, man. We're name dropping so many people.
We really are.
Well,
By the way, shout out to her. She did the horror VR with me as well. I had to convince her, but she did it, and she was brave, and it was awesome. Go on.
Look at there.
yes,
Flashback.
yes, absolutely, 100%. So Johnny,
All right, so I've actually got, and I've mentioned this in our Discord already, but it really needs to be shared for everybody to enjoy. I've got a show that I binge watched in one day that I feel like if you guys haven't seen it, and if anyone listening hasn't seen it, you need to. And that is on Netflix. It's called The Umbrella Academy. Have you guys seen this? Heard of this?
No.
Heard of it, not
I have
seen
heard
it.
of this.
Well, you know what your duties are when we finish up here. Go ahead and pop you
Are
a
we
bag
getting
of popcorn.
homework?
You're getting homework. So this show,
this feels like homework.
See, I tried to do the homework thing on the Noobiverse podcast. It did not go well. Just FYI.
really, this is optional homework that you're really going to miss
extra
out on
credit?
if you don't do. Yeah, it's extra credit. Yeah.
No, I'm happy to do it. So, John, I do my level best, and this is not me being a dick. This is just I'm being honest. I do my level best to keep up with Netflix original stuff in terms of what's coming out, but aside from the biggies like Stranger Things and Altered Carbon and a couple others
Biggies.
that I found.
God, I need to watch Altered Carbon.
It's
That's
really
right
good.
up my alley, and I haven't
It's
done it yet.
it's really good. You should watch it. But anyway, what I'm getting at is I can't keep track of all these fucking shows. They're coming out with too
Yeah,
many of them.
there's a ton. And I agree. And I watch a lot of them. All right, so the Umbrella Academy is actually based on a series of graphic novels. Okay, there is currently 2 of them that are out, and there's a 3rd one that's being written. And so season 1 is book 1. Okay, and it's already been renewed for season 2. It was actually a pretty big hit.
Okay.
All right, so the premise is that on a certain day in time, there was I think there was 122 babies that were born at the same time to mothers who weren't pregnant before that day. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I'm not going to jump into the whole of spoilers for the people who haven't seen it, but I'm going to try to set the stage and sell it as best I can.
Good Lord.
Surprise.
I swear I didn't do anything.
So the show opens up and there's people that are sitting there just talking and living, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, and there's a baby. So that's how it that's the kickoff of the show. So
Okay.
yeah, so they're all born on the same day at the same time to mothers who aren't pregnant. And so there is an eccentric billionaire by the name of Hargreaves, okay, that tries to go and buy these children from their mothers, all right? And he is successful with 7 of them. And the 7 children that he gets, he brings back to a school of his founding that is called the Umbrella Academy. It's the name of the show, okay? And the idea is all those children born on that certain day have some sort of ability.
It's a really, really intelligent way to write it. So you have this pool of 100 and what you said 7.
I think it's 122. That's the number that's sticking in my head. That might not be the right number. I do know that 7 children being at the actual Umbrella Academy is right. I think 100.
That's an intelligent way to write because now you have 115 characters to pull out of nowhere.
That's right.
That's
right.
That's pretty
if you
badass.
So choose. But you also don't have to because you say that some died. Some
Right,
did
of
this, some
course.
did that,
Yeah, but you've got this pool to pull from for future stories. Sorry, that just
that's really cool.
I appreciate when things like that are set up.
Yeah, and so it starts
good
off.
to me.
It starts off, and these characters are already adults. Okay, they've already been through their let's call it training. Okay.
Oh, good. Good.
And so you jump right into the story, and basically you have a scenario where, and their names are number 1 through number 7, and then in their adulthood they've given themselves some actual names. Well, most of them have. Okay, but they're from Hargreaves they were named number 1 through number 7, and they were named in such as they were of importance to him. And so we have numbers 1 through 4 are present, number 5 and 6 are missing from the episode, and number 7 is there but seems to be unspecial in any way. That's the setup, okay? And then the whole season is them kind of figuring out what's going on, what's happening. They all get brought together, even though they had all left. They all get brought together, and it's really just a wild ride. The acting's phenomenal. The story is very well written. It's got lots of twists and turns, lots of unexpected things, and it's really, I think, in all of our wheelhouses for sure, and
I will
probably
definitely
anybody
check it
that's
out.
listening to this as well.
Can we do this then? Since homework don't go good so far as sounds of glitches.
Wow, that was English.
Let's just do the first 2 episodes maybe, and we'll only promise to cover those 2 episodes rather than like all of them or half the season or something like that.
Hey, wait a minute. I told all you guys to watch the... Whoa. I told all you guys to go check out The Expanse and nobody fucking watched it. Why do we have to go do this?
It's on my list.
I watched season 1.
It's
Hey,
on my list.
We don't have to
But
read
you're
it and bring
talking
it
4
back here for
seasons.
another talk. I'm just saying that it's absolutely 100% worth every second
Jesus,
of your
John,
time
I'm
to do so.
teasing. I'm teasing.
You know?
Now,
Teasing.
John, I gotta ask, what
Yes.
are the chances that Stranger Things is a prequel? Because we have 8 and 11 that we've met there.
What are the chances of it being a prequel?
Right.
The season coming up?
No, Stranger Things. What are the chances that that's a prequel to the Umbrella Academy? We've got 8
Zero,
and 11 that
you
we've
can-
met.
No, vice. I think he's talking about vice versa.
Oh, you're
but-
trying to time. You're trying to time together.
Theorist? None.
I don't.
Hell
I
yeah.
don't-
None.
It's 0. Yeah, definitely 0.
Mike, none.
You don't
I
know,
have the
you
answer.
haven't
It's
seen it.
none.
No, wait. I know the answer. Stranger Things and the Umbrella Academy are in the same multiverse, but there's going to be this thing.
They're in the same
Where
multiverse.
we wind up in the-
also the X-Men are there.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't fucking wait. Oh my god, that's coming so close.
Yep. So
I know.
It's fucking next weekend, guys.
yeah, dare I say
Yeah,
that,
I mean,
that
Oh,
our
Endgame?
next
Yeah.
recording will be chock full.
The in-game
in-game
podcast, yeah. Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Well, hold on. Time out on that really quick.
Don't you dare say you're not going to see it.
On opening weekend? What are you, fucking insane? There's no way I'm going to be able to
I'm
do
right
that.
there with Mike for that one, actually.
John and I are going to do a solo cast.
Fine, but there's literally no chance that I'm going to be able to go see that on opening weekend.
Okay,
There's
all right.
just not.
I've got a solution that suits everybody. Me and Remy will go see it, and then we'll record a podcast where we tell you what happens for 1 hour.
Love it.
Yeah, that works for everybody.
love it.
I got a better solution, John. Why don't you go fuck yourself?
Hey folks, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed. If you did, do us a favor and hit that sub button and ring that little bell. You can always catch us here on Twitch and Discord. All the links are in the description, and we will catch you next time.